it's Marie, and it's the end of May, which means it's time for my autumn book haul. And I'm really proud of myself this time because this season I only acquired about 10 books, and some of those were library books because I've decided library books kind of count but kind of don't count, but I do want to talk more about library books. Um, and I'm trying to get back into the habit of using my library more regularly because I used to do it all the time as a kid and as a teenager, and then I just kind of stopped. So I'm really trying to use my library more, and this season I actually did, so I'm going to be talking about library books here as well. So let's begin with the audiobooks. There were only two that I've acquired up to this point. Let's start with Most Ardently by Gabe Cole Novoa. This is a Pride and Prejudice retelling, I guess, rewrite, remix. And it features the Elizabeth Bennet character as a trans male character. Um, and then Mr. Darcy is still Mr. Darcy. I I bought this one because I love Pride and Prejudice, and I had heard a lot of good things about this book, but I tried. I listened to about 10 minutes and then I had to stop. I'm not saying it was bad. Like I said, I've heard a lot of good things about this book. People really love it. I've got a friend who's reading it at the moment, and they really love it too. But I just, I just couldn't, I just couldn't go there for Pride and Prejudice. I'm all for classic novels being rewritten through modern lenses, but for me, I just love Pride and Prejudice being Pride and Prejudice. I don't need or want it to be anything other than what it is. So I really struggled to get into it, and then I couldn't quite understand either why all the characters had been aged down so significantly, because the characters in the original book are the age they are for a reason. So that was a bit weird to me. Maybe if I'd made it longer than 10 minutes, it would have become clear, but I didn't, so I'll never know. The second audiobook I acquired was Dead Happy by Josh Silver. This is the sequel to Happy Head, which was released last year, I believe. It's only a duology, and I listened to the first book last year and really enjoyed it. I was surprised by how good it was. So this was an anticipated release for me, and I picked it up a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week. But I haven't made a start on it yet. This is a YA thriller, I guess, about a boy named Seb who goes basically to a wellness retreat for uh, high achieving or potentially high achieving youth. But they're all pretty troubled in their own way. Seb is gay, I believe. He's definitely same sex attracted. Um, and he's struggling with a lot of things that have occurred to him in his recent past. But while he's at this Happy Head wellness retreat, he meets another boy um, who is something of a juvenile delinquent, but they hit it off and sort of come to understand that there is something sinister happening at this retreat, and they try to figure out what's going on. I'm really, really keen to see how the story wraps up in this sequel. In terms of library books, I only got three this season. In March, I grabbed Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, aka Blade Runner, by Philip K. Dick, and Neuromancer by William Gibson. I picked up these two specifically because I had recently finished playing Cyberpunk 2077 and fell in love with that game. I mean, I still think about it. It's been 2 months and I'm still thinking about playing it again. Um, it was great, but I was very interested to see um, more about the cyberpunk subgenre. I was not sure if I liked the subgenre itself or if I just really liked the game and those particular characters that I loved in that game. So I thought I would try reading some books in the subgenre, just to get a feel for it a bit more. And the two that I ended up choosing are pretty foundational texts for the subgenre, so I think I started in a good place. But I didn't get very far because then I went into a reading slump, which was a shame. Um, I will say I got further into Blade Runner than I did Neuromancer, and I didn't love what I read of Blade Runner. Um, I just don't think the writing style was gelling for me. So I probably won't go back to that one. I might watch it. That's probably a better idea for me personally. But Neuromancer, I would definitely be interested in going back to and giving a second try because I just didn't really get far enough into it for the reading slump hit to form an opinion one way or the other. The other library book I grabbed was Wrong Answers Only by Tobias Madden. This was another anticipated release for me. I've read Madden's two other books. The first one I loved, the second one I didn't. So this is his third release, and I was very interested to see how I would feel about this one. And I loved this book. I thought it was fantastic. I think it was probably his best book to date. It's about a boy named Marco who is supposed to be going into university after finishing year 12, but he's feeling the pressure because he was the highest ranking, I think, science student for year 12 in the state. Um, and he's been planning to go into biomedicine for his whole life since he was a kid, and now it's happening, and he starts having panic attacks and struggling with anxiety, and he just can't go. He physically cannot get into the car to go to the train station to go to university. So his family stages an intervention, and they decide that they will send him to a cruise ship in the Mediterranean, which is, I guess, run by his estranged uncle, his father's brother, who's been gone from the family for like 30 years or something, after a falling out. And so Marco goes, and while he's there, his best friend, who is a cruise ship dancer, she transfers onto his ship, and they decide that while Marco is there, the best thing for him to do to overcome his perfectionist lifestyle, which they think is causing this panic, they decide that he has to just go all in with making the wrong decisions. So if he thinks he should do one thing, he should probably instead do the other thing, make the wrong choice for a change. And he does, and he makes some really bad choices, but he learns a lot about himself and his family along the way. He becomes close with his estranged uncle. Some family secrets are uncovered. Overall, this is a fantastic book. It deals with some, I don't want to say adult themes, but more mature themes than I think Madden has tackled before. So I'm really excited to see what he comes up with for his next book. And then we come to the physical books. I only acquired 5 of these. So let's start with this one. This is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. This is the, it's a really cute version. I'm just looking at the back cover, how cute it is. This is a unplugged special edition. So it came with a full box of Alice in Wonderland themed items, which I did a video on, so I'll link it if you haven't seen it. It's a really, really pretty edition. I really like this one. I like that it's also got a reversible dust jacket, so you can use whichever image appeals to you. I don't think this book requires much explanation. I think everyone knows what Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is, but I've always loved it, and I really wanted to get this shiny new copy, so I did. I also grabbed Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I don't know a huge amount about this book, to be honest. Um, it's been on my radar for such a long time, and I've just never gotten around to it. But a friend of mine was unhauling this. He read it, I think he really enjoyed it, and then he offered to send it to me. So I said yes, because, you know, why not? Um, it was written by the same person who wrote that Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell book, I think is what it was called, which I did try to read, but I didn't get very far. So hopefully this one is better. It's definitely shorter, which is good because that Jonathan Strange novel was really long, and I don't think that helped my motivation. So yeah, again, I don't know what this one is about, but hopefully I like it. Another one of my anticipated releases for this year was The Hemlock Queen by Hannah Witten. This is the second book in the Nightshade Crown series. It's the sequel to The Foxglove King, which I read at the start of last year, and I have to reread it because I don't remember anything, so I have to read that first. Um, but it was about a young woman named Law who was a secret necromancer, basically. Um, and she gets discovered and then gets taken into the royal court and is basically blackmailed by the king to spy on his heir, who the king thinks is like consorting with foreign powers to gain power or something. I can't fully remember, but she also has a bodyguard named Gabe, um, and they have like a sort of romance thing happening. But she's also got a romance sort of happening with the prince, whose name is Bastian. Bastian is much more fun. He was my favorite character. I'm hoping that it doesn't go in a love triangle direction. Like, if they could just all three of them get together and be happy in a big, loving, polyamorous relationship, that would be ideal because I think I'm over. I think we're all over the love triangles, to be honest. Anyway, that's irrelevant. This is the sequel to that book. I'm really, 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 really excited to read this one, but like I said, I have to reread book one first. So, hoping to do that soon and then getting straight onto this one. And then finally, I grabbed the Illumicrate editions of Rincha Pecco's Reaper duology, which is Silver Under Nightfall and Court of Wanderers. These books are gorgeous. They're so beautiful. They've got these really elaborate covers and edges. Oh, they're also signed, which is nice. Um, Artwork on the end papers. And I think, yeah, and the hardcover is this amazing foil design. And then Court of Wanderers is in this red. I'm currently reading Court of Wanderers, so I'm almost halfway through. And this is a duology about a vampire hunter named Remy who basically gets involved with these two noble court vampires who are investigating the cause behind basically an infection that is taking hold of some vampires and turning them into like unkillable demonic creatures. So Remy gets involved in this investigation and goes on this adventure with the two of them, and they do form a male female polyamorous relationship, which is great. It's come to the forefront a lot in book two, I've found, which is great. I do love it, but book two so far does feel a bit less focused than book one did. But you know, I'm at a point now in the story where things feel like they're starting to take off, so hopefully now that I'm getting to halfway, it'll be smooth sailing from here, but we'll see. And that's it. Those are all the books that I acquired during the autumn months, including a couple of library books, which is great. Tell me if you've read any of these. if you enjoyed them. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Bye!